Countdown. We're live. Hello, welcome to another edition of the Willie Bragg Show, where I like to discuss a lot of politics. And since I am from North Carolina, I think most of you know I'm from North Carolina, and I think that there are only two people from the online left in North Carolina. There may be somebody else that I'm not aware of, or maybe a half a dozen other folks, but you know me, Willie Bragg. I'm part of the online left, and so trying to have done my channel like this for the past 2 years, and there is Andrea Rovenski, and she has a channel. I know her as Andrea Ravinsky, not personally, but I know her from watching her channel. And we follow each other on Twitter, and we're Facebook friends. So, and I listen to her program, and it's one of my main staples of online leftists that I listen to, on a regular basis. And so there's probably about 15 people I kind of listen to on throughout the course of my online left days, and she's one of them. And what I would say is that I mostly agree, of course, with most of her takes. Occasionally I disagree with her. Occasionally I disagree with other folks too that I listen to, and it's okay when you can have a disagreement. I don't expect people to listen to my channel and to be lockstep in agreement with every little finite point that I make either. And unfortunately, there's a lot of nitpicking. I'm not saying her, but broadly on the left, there's a whole lot of nitpicking that goes on. And if you say something that doesn't quite jive, people look at you and be, "What the hell's wrong with you?" And vice versa. And I kind of used to be like that, and I am working on that myself, because I am not without sin in this sort of situation here. But needless to say, I was watching a video that was interesting yesterday. It's called "Nick Brana Responds to Allegations on Jimmy Dore's Show, Accuses Everyone of Being Liberal Democrats." And so I watched her take on this, and while watching the Jimmy Dore Nick Brana discussion, I didn't actually see the original one, but I'm watching it through her watching the video. So I'm going to go play her video and give you my take on her take and whatever the situation is with Jimmy Dore and Nick Brana. So give me a moment here, and we'll get started. All right, and let me do this here. This time I think I'm going to be down in the corner. Nah, I thought I was going to be. I'll go back over here. There you go. So let me get started here, and then I'm going to interrupt occasionally. I'm going to put on high speed because it's a bit long, but I'm going to pause it and give my take, and so you get the bigger picture of what I'm talking about. Let me get the speed set up first. Yeah, we're going to do 1.25 right now. Okay, let's get started. Okay.
All right, folks. So I am a fair person. I consider myself to be a fair person. Recently, I have been speaking about the troubles of the People's Party. And people have told me that Nick Brana went on the Jimmy Dore show to respond to some of the allegations against him. And so this is a 24-minute video. I will be watching this probably on like 1.5x. So please understand that. I'm not going to sit here for 24 minutes. I'll pause a lot because that's the kind of person I am. But I'm going to tell you, I haven't seen this yet, but I'm going to guess what's going to be in this. Because I've been following the People's Party for a long time. And this is the playbook. So what's going to happen is everyone who disagrees with Nick Brana is a secret liberal Democrat Party shill. And were paid by Nancy Pelosi to infiltrate the People's Party and destroy it from within. That's going to be my guess. A lot of people say, oh, well, the People's Party, it's a populist party. And so we don't want liberals in the populist party. I don't know what that means. If your party is populist, shouldn't you appeal to everyone? But we're going to get into this. Now, again, folks, real quick, there was a big fight in the People's Party over multiple things. Nick Brana wanted to make a public statement of the People's Party to be anti-vax. They wanted to be anti-mandate, anti-vax, and they wanted to make that public. Half of the People's Party were like, what? What? Like, are you serious? Like, because here's, for those of you that don't know the scam, this is a pyramid scheme. This is a Ponzi scheme, the People's Party. And I'm going to be very clear. And again, I'm going to play this whole video here. So, I'm being fair. They bring people in to do free labor under the guise of volunteering for organizing a People's Party. So they do free labor, going out and calling people to say, hey, look, it's a People's Party, join. Hey, look, People's Party, donate to the People's Party. So they get people to do free labor and fundraise for Nick Brana's personal project. Nick Brana, his father is the Treasury Secretary of the People's Party. We know that the People's Party spent $20,000. They are not that big of an organization, so $20,000 is a big amount. On a logo, first of all, $20,000 on a logo. What? They spent $20,000 on a logo that never even got made. Where did that go? Very curious. Again, it is a Ponzi scheme, by all definition. They bring people in thinking, oh, we're going to break up the duopoly. Again, I agree. Fuck the duopoly. Fuck the Democratic Party. Fuck the Republican Party. Fuck them. I agree with that. But they bring people in that are rightfully disillusioned with the parties. Oh, we're going to shake things up. We're going to get a third party. We're going to break the duopoly. They volunteer their time without pay. That's the key part. They volunteer. They made a culture that appreciates volunteers. They profit all of the fundraising. They pocket, rather, all of the fundraising and then launder it via donations or purchasing a logo to people. Who knows where that money went? Probably one of their friends. It was probably just one of their friends, and they spent $20,000 on a logo. And then whatever. Again, it's a Ponzi scheme. So with that being said, if you're still falling for the People's Party bandwagon, dumber than dirt. But feel free to listen to me tear apart Nick Brana's response. On top of all of this, Nick Brana is accused of sexual harassment. Now again, you can be romantically involved with someone. You can fuck someone 30 times. That's great. I endorse fucking people consensually. Okay? Fuck everyone you want as long as it's consensual. But then the moment that person revokes consent, you're done. Right? So it doesn't matter if they used to fuck or if they wanted to fuck at another point. That's irrelevant. What matters is when someone says no, you back off. Nick Brana did not get the memo. So he went on the Jimmy Dore show. The Jimmy Dore, again, a Russian asset. Let's be honest here. He's pro-Putin. He is pro-invasion of Ukraine. At this point, it's very clear. Jimmy Dore is a Russian asset. Let's be honest. Anyone denying that is a dumb fuck?
Okay, let me pause for a second myself. Now, as for the People's Party, I was excited about the idea, the concept of a People's Party in the very beginning. I didn't have any strong expectations it was going to be the next big thing. I've been involved with third parties in the past, a lot of third parties, primarily the Socialist Party USA, but I've been involved with the Labor Party that was the ideological flavor of the month for the left in the 1990s. I've been involved with the New Party, which is now the Working Families Party. I've been involved with third party activism quite a bit. I'm very familiar with third party activism. I work with the Democrats. I've said this before. When I was in college, I belonged to the College Democrats. Being in the College Democrats made me a leftist because the College Democrats are very, very corporate, centrist, DLC type, young little nerds who were very DLC, Democratic Leadership Council, excited by Bill Clinton and the New Democrats project. That just didn't have any appeal to me. But so anyway, I saw they were going nowhere really fast. Now, about the platform being anti-vax, I think that that's ridiculous to be anti-vax. I mean, to make it part of a platform. If you individually are not into vaccinations, do not believe in the vaccine skeptical, that's fine. We're all individuals at the end of the day. I'm pro-vaccine, but I am opposed to the mandates. Now, I would agree with the People's Party to have a more civil libertarian approach to our mandates. I would encourage people to take the vaccine, but I would not, require it. And some people, even you'd be surprised how many people have a problem with my position here. So as far as free labor or labor exploitations, we're dealing with small parties. The People's Party is a small party, and there's not a lot of money forking out. Your financial resources are very limited. So it kind of, to get something started is in a lot of ways is volunteer based. And when I was in the SPUSA, I've been to conventions. I had to go pay for a plane ticket. I had to go and, I had to go and, well, I didn't have to, but I donated to various candidates around the country who were running for office, and I've donated to the presidential campaigns too, for the Socialist Party USA when I was a member of the Socialist Party USA. So, all third parties they if they're serious at trying to build a party, they're gonna volunteer their times and all that. And unfortunately, that's the scenario. I don't think the People's Party is any more guilty than any other movement or organization, left, right, or center, that's trying to start something independent. And I agree with third parties. To this day, I'm more for third parties now than I've ever been in my life. Now, with regard to the sexual harassment allegation against Nick Brana, I don't know the details, and that, if he's guilty, prosecute him. If he's not guilty, that's really fucked up. I believe in evidence, and some people, unfortunately, on my side of the fence, take the Me Too idea of believing all women too much. Or if a woman's doing this to a man, same thing. I believe in evidence. That's all I'm going to say about that. With regard to Jimmy Dore, I will add Jimmy Dore. Now, you should talk about how ironic it would be. Jimmy Dore got accused of being sexually harassing Anna Kasparian. No, Jimmy Dore said, "Nice new skirt." I believe Jimmy Dore said that. I believe the Jimmy Dore story over Anna Kasparian's story has nothing to do with liking or disliking one or another. I have a problem with Anna Kasparian, of course, and the Young Turks. I don't agree with Jimmy Dore on every single issue. So I believe what happened. He brought it out in the open because I believe he would have gotten his ass in trouble even if his version that he told, which I think is true, would have been blurted out in the open. It would have destroyed his career. So I think he did a smart thing, actually, to explain it. But he was kind of a douchebag in how he did it. Now, as far as being a Russian asset, that's the new smear these days. You don't like somebody, they're a Russian. This is kind of like what right wing did during the days of McCarthy. If you weren't even a communist, you were accused of being a fellow traveler, or you were a little bit too eager for racial equality, or a little bit too eager to support unions. They call. They say you're loyal to the Kremlin. And now you have liberals doing the same shit as McCarthyites in the 50s and people in the John Birch Society in the early 60s were doing. Labeling anybody who was mildly left of center back then as a communist dupe. And today, and really, the Russian allegation thing is being promoted by corporate Democrats. Corporate Democrats, and some people on the left have actually adopted this themselves and started accusing others of being a Russian asset. And it doesn't make such persons terrible persons, but they need to think about using the term Russian too loosely. So, as I said, the whole thing is a smear, and corporate Democrats created this, especially around the Hillary Clinton campaign. So anybody who's to their right, of course, is a Russian. Anybody who's to the left of the corporate Democrats are Russian or pro-Russian. And so Donald Trump was not only accused of being pro-Russian, they accused Bernie Sanders, they accused Jill Stein, they also accused Tulsi Gabbard, which I don't know if I could say she's on the left anymore. She's another subject for another time. So anyway, let me go on and with Andrea, let's see what she has to say, and I'll share a few more words.
Nick Brana went on the Jimmy Dore show to give a propaganda piece. Again, fundraising. This is all a big fun. Nick Brana is going to go up here, say the liberals got me. Please donate to the People's Party so we can replace the liberal insurgents. And then his dad, who so happens to be the Treasury Secretary, they're just going to pocket the money. So let's watch. Nick Brana, he was Bernie Sanders' National Political Outreach Coordinator in 2016. That is also not true. Nick Brana has consistently lied about his position in the 2016 Bernie campaign. He did not have this he was a national spokesperson, He was never in such a high-ranking position. That's part of the mythology. Thanks, guys. He's Nick Brana. He was Bernie Sanders' National Political Outreach Coordinator in 2016. He's the co-founder of the People's Party, a new political party set to shake up America's broken political system. First of all, People's Party is not new. They've been around since 2017. At least the Green Party is running candidates that are getting 2%, at least. The People's Party has yet to run a candidate. They are not even filed as a party in 49 states. So, he helped organize active Congress and an ongoing action on Capitol Hill. Please welcome Nick Brana. Hi, Nick. Good to see you.
Hey, Jimmy, good to see you. And thank you, by the way, for making everyone at the People's Party watch that, your segments on mandates and so that's leading to Max. A lot of people need to see that.
Okay, fantastic. Happy you want today, Nick, because there's been some accusations leveled at you. Now, how it goes. When you get to the left of the Democratic Party, there's a playbook on how to take you down. Now, so you've been accused by people of a kind of sexual harassment, right? Is that correct? Tell me what's going on. So again, I am accused of sexual harassment. So I'm going to go on someone else's show who was openly accused of sexual harassment and then defended it and then said it was no big deal. I'm just saying, if I am ever accused of sexual harassment, the first thing I'm not going to do is go on an open and confirmed sexual harasser show to talk about how I didn't do anything. I'm just saying. Jimmy Dore is not where you want to be going. If you were trying to dispel this notion. But again, it's all propaganda. It's all propaganda because Jimmy Dore, his audience is inoculated. His audience has been vaccinated against caring about sexual harassment. And so that's why Nick Brana is going on here. He knows everyone watching Jimmy Dore is cool with sexual harassment because Jimmy Dore is a sexual harasser. So in order to watch Jimmy Dore and respect Jimmy Dore, you have to be okay with sexual harassment. So he's fishing in those waters very purposefully, and that's important to understand.
That's right. This is a part of this. This is the playbook that's done. Essentially, we've seen it with Julian Assange. We've seen it with the New York mayoral candidate, Shadi Buttar. This is done. You warned me. We can't warn me. So many people have warned me that this eventually happens if you challenge the establishment long enough. There have been efforts to find me out.
So again, folks, this is not the first time that they've used this playbook. The People's Party, I'm checking, please bear with me. The People's Party have done mass firings of members several times. If you ever criticize or offer constructive criticism in People's Party Slacks, you will get banned. Even if you're a volunteer, you phone bank for 8 hours on behalf of the People's Party, giving them a lot of money and fundraising and giving them your time. They will literally ban you if you say, hey, what's going on with this? Hey, are we planning anything for that? They will ban you because they don't want criticism at all.
Literally, by some of the richest people in the world offering me jobs, there have been efforts to character assassinate me, DNC members, and eventually this is done to people who challenge the establishment enough. It was done to you, it's been done to so many people, and so there was an effort inside the People's Party as well to do this to me, and it's situated in a larger effort to really turn the People's Party in a more liberal direction that opposes mandates, that is okay with having Democrats run our national committee or state committees, and in fact...
So he made a little bit of a misspeech there, but what he is saying is that Democrat insurgents, these liberals, so to speak, went in the party, donated hundreds and hundreds of hours of free time and labor and money to destroy the People's Party because they're liberals and they think that vaccines work. The people, now again, I want you to understand one of the big fights happened, right? Right, like as Paula Jean quit the People's Party, right? Was Nick Brana wanted the People's Party to come strongly out as anti-vax. He wanted the party itself, not Nick Brana. He wanted the party itself to come out against vaccines. Okay? So, and everyone else was like, actually, vaccines are kind of good, so I don't know what to tell you. And then he was like, rah, liberal! And then banned everyone. Again, if you are being, you ever notice how the populist parties are always, let's work with right-wingers and neo-Nazis. It's never, let's work with people that agree that vaccines and hand-washing are a good idea. Let's agree with people that think that duopoly sucks, but also like to wash their hands before supper time. You ever notice? It's always, let's Canadian trucker neo-Nazis, they're great. Putin, neo-Nazi, great. All the neo-Nazis are wonderful. It's the liberals that you gotta watch. This is like Andrew Cuomo going on Chris Cuomo. That is so true. This is literally, it is the same fucking thing. That is so true. All right.
When others express opposition to that, really, this was used to try, these allegations against me have been used to try to take the party in a much more liberal direction as opposed to a populist direction, whereas the majority of the party is...
So what do these words mean, liberal and populist? If you sat down, now I just want to be very clear and explicitly, Nick Brana, come on my show, buddy. I would love to have Nick Brana come on my show. Open invitation. But what does liberal and what does populist mean in this context? Liberal, in my opinion, is probably anyone that supports capitalism. What does populist mean? Well, populist honestly doesn't even mean anything, let's be honest. Like, you know, fun fact, there is the People's Party in Canada. They're the neo-Nazi party. Whoops.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get to that last point very quickly. I will do that. Now, Jimmy Dore was correct about the Democrats liking to go after the left. I mean, and it is the truth. They go after the left. Bernie Sanders was cheated twice, and I know many of you are going to be tired of me bellyaching about what happened to Bernie Sanders in 2016 and 2020, but it is fact that Bernie Sanders got majorly fucked over by Hillary Clinton in 2016 and Barack Obama in 2020. They work to make sure that Bernie Sanders was cheated in both election years. Because Joe Biden was going nowhere. His demented soul was going nowhere. He was a doddering old fool. And Bernie Sanders was about to get the nomination. Barack Obama made a few phone calls. And some of the big contenders dropped out. And the snake, Elizabeth Warren, remained in the race long enough to destroy him in Massachusetts. So that's what happened there. So Jimmy Dore is correct that the Democratic Party goes after the left. They do. And as far as firing people from the People's Party, I don't know. I don't know. A lot of that's hearsay. I'm going to say I would say maybe a consequence of administrative chaos that exists in third parties, and there's only a lot of ego involved. It has something to do with even being in the left, right, or center. If you're an independent party trying to make it, you're tripping over yourselves nonstop. So now the term populist, regarding Putin and the Nazi truckers in Canada, I do not think that those truckers are Nazis. There may be a few people, cranks out there that be like that, but I think that most of the truckers are probably center-right leaning. And there's a lot, and it doesn't mean that, to assume that they're all a bunch of white nationalists. There's a lot of folks, there are Sikhs who are truckers, and there are Aborigine or Native Americans who are truckers in Canada too. So, I don't like this blanket indictment of calling everybody you disagree with, even if they have some unpleasant views, calling them Nazis. That's really the equivalent of, it's equivalent to Republicans calling everybody pedophile that they don't like, or calling everybody, socialist or a communist or a terrorist lover. It's the equivalent. So, and I'm actually going to try to watch my rhetoric when I say the right, because when I say the right, I don't necessarily mean that somebody's a Nazi over there. Now those who are Nazis, well, fuck them. But it's still, seriously. Now, in regard to the People's Party, the name, I don't know much about the People's Party in Canada. Don't know if they're a white nationalist party or they're just an extremely paleo-conservative party. Don't know the ideology, but I'm going to tell you that there are political parties that uses a name in one country that means another name in another country, and you would think, now People's Party is an innocuous name. I mean, I think they're called the Progressive People's Party in Guyana. They're like a center left party, for example. There was the People's Party of Benjamin Spock in the early 70s, obviously a left wing party. there was, I believe I know that Norway, I believe the People's Party is a anti-immigrant party. So, I mean, the People's Party could be whatever it is. It means something locally to these people. Like, for example, in Australia, the Australian Liberal Party is not liberal the way we think of liberalism here in the United States. It's a center-right party. Even more misleading is the center-right party in Portugal. It's called the Social Democrats. Now, you think of the Social Democrats, you think, hey, at least center-left in most places. For some reason, the conservatives in Portugal called themselves the Social Democrats versus the Socialist Party, which is the center-left party in Portugal. In Jamaica, again, you look at the two parties in Jamaica, the center-left and the center-right. The center-left party has a more right-wing sounding name than the center-right party, and the center-right party has a center-left leaning name. The center-right name in Jamaica, the political party that's conservative in Jamaica, is the Jamaican Labour Party. You would think the Jamaican Labour Party would be a left-wing party, but it isn't. The People's National Party. Okay, they're using the name People. The People's National Party in Jamaica is a center-left party. And Michael Manley, who was elected as a prime minister in 1972, was harassed by the CIA in exactly the same way, and harassed by the U.S. government in exactly the same way that Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela is being harassed today. And they wanted to go and make him an example in the way that they made Salvador Allende an example in Chile in 1973. So anyway, please, Andrea, don't fall for that guilt by association, because you and I have to deal with right-wingers when they say, well, the Nazis were socialists. That's what they called themselves. Because they were the National Socialist German Workers' Party. Again, they co-opted the name socialist, not meaning that they were for the workers or they were left-wing, but they used it to kind of deceive people into thinking they were populist when they weren't. So anyway, I digress, and I'm going to keep going further. So, Andrea, take it away.
So I'm not saying that means that they're Nazi or that they're coordinating with the Canadian People's Party. I'm just saying it's interesting. But what is populist? I mean, populist makes it seem like, oh, something's popular. So being anti-vax is popular, apparently. Americans typically want the pandemic to last even longer, right? That is so dumb. This anti-vax, anti-mandate position helps big business. At the end of the day, these are liberals. Nick Brana and Jimmy Dore are liberals. They are parroting Joe Biden administration talking points. They are parroting talking points from neoliberal think tanks that want capitalism to keep on chugging, because if we did a lockdown, that would hurt our bottom line. That would hurt our profits.
Okay, let me respond about the pro-vax. Well, I'll go one further.
Lockdowns for public health? No way. These are the pro-Medicare for all people. We want to give people free healthcare so bad that when we actually get free healthcare for once, we're going to tell everyone not to take it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. The pro-vax, argument is, I think that people should be encouraged to take the vax. I think they should be encouraged. I don't think they should be mandated, because this vaccine is so new, and I can understand. I got jabbed. I got my 2 shots, and I got my booster, and I did my first shot last year with a degree of reservations, because this shit was new. Doesn't make me an anti-vaxxer. I mean, anything but that. But as you got basically free healthcare for people, and it's working. I mean, more people are getting vaccinated. I know we got Omicron and all of that, but I think that as most people get themselves vaxxed, we're going to get in a better situation in the next year or two. We'll be headed on back to normal. I'm sorry that there are some people who want to start a fucking culture war on the right, and they're the ones being more obnoxious about it than anybody else. But, trying to be authoritarian on this particular issue is not going to help these people be convinced that they need to be vaccinated. You can do it by the power of persuasion, encouraging, giving them financial incentives. But anyway, let me go on.
You're telling me the vaccine that can end this pandemic and make sure that no one else dies from this virus is free. Healthcare is free. And you're telling people not to take it. This is the Medicare for All party.
Probably populist, and I believe is in favor of coming out against the mandates.
So you're saying this is politically motivated by people inside the party. This accusation is over politics. And so what action was taken? So is there some kind of internal process?
So to be very clear, this mandate bullshit was after, like, Nick Brana was under sexual harassment investigation in December of 2021, according to the Status Quo bombshell report. And this happened in February. So he's been under investigation for 3 months. If the investigation was political, wouldn't they have politicized it 3 months ago? I'm just asking.
So that happens when someone makes an accusation like this?
Absolutely, there was. And so the individual who accused me brought her complaint to the board, and the board convened the Board of the People's Party National Coordinator Circle. They convened an investigation. This is our process. Worked with our general counsel on this. That investigation, within a couple weeks, they took testimony from myself, from the individual accusing me. They also interviewed the two of us. They examined the evidence, and within a couple weeks, they
so wait a second. They took testimony and they interviewed you. So first they took testimony, and then after that was over, wait a couple days, and then they interview you. Interesting.
That in fact this was politically motivated, and that there was no evidence. And later, she even admitted that she had no evidence to back up the claims. And they called.
Okay, to be very clear, this board of investigators did not come to a conclusion. That is not true. Second of all, there being no evidence of something doesn't mean it didn't happen. I have been raped and sexually assaulted before. I don't have evidence of it. I didn't film it. Does that mean it didn't happen? What? What? I'm just like.
It could have. That, of course, there were a couple of members of the board who were opposed to how I was leading the party and had a more liberal vision, along with contractors who were working with us, had a more liberal vision for the party, as opposed to the populist vision that the majority of the party had and that I had. And that was what motivated these allegations.
Now again, the majority of the party did not have this, quote, populist vision. If it did, they would have made a statement because they would have won the votes. From my understanding of the reports, it was pretty deadlocked, 50-50. Ended up firing about half the board. So again, he's lying already.
And these board members who helped facilitate and helped conspire to create these allegations with her, with my accuser, they had expressed a long-standing interest in getting rid of me or replacing me. And so from start to finish, this has been politically motivated. It was supposed to conclude within a week or two. It didn't. It was extended. When they realized there was no evidence, it was extended over the course of several weeks, over the course of months, and ultimately culminated in an attempt to remove me and other members of the national leadership and thus delegates from the party, populist delegates, for political disagreements with this other group.
So, okay. So let's be as charitable as we possibly can here. Okay. So it's political. They disagree with you because you're an anti-vax freak, and other parts of the party think, hey, maybe we should try to tell people to actually embrace free healthcare. Wouldn't it have been great for Medicare for All if everyone got in April 2021 and then we just ended the pandemic? And then it'd be like, whoa, free healthcare ended the pandemic. Wouldn't that have been a great marketing strategy? Well, these people are fucking weird, man. They're fucking strange. They're very strange people. But again, it is a political party. If people disagree with the political party, they vote. Right, and the majority, or whatever the threshold is the one that the party goes with in that direction. What do you mean? You're telling me, wait, people in a political party were engaging politically? Whoa! I have never heard that before. Next, you're going to tell me you're going to have primaries, and that people are going to run for office, and then someone might get less votes and lose the primary, and then not get to run for office under the People's Party label. Whoa! You're telling me people in a political party were acting politically. You're telling me people in a political party that didn't like your leadership wanted to vote for someone else to lead the political party politically? Whoa. Doesn't that sound like fucking Hillary Clinton? Like, let's be honest. This sounds exactly like Hillary Clinton.
So you're saying that you wanted to make a populist party. They had a different idea. They wanted to make it what sounds like Democrat light, right, of a party. And they were...
The whole point of a People's Party was it's a party for people. If you disagree, that makes you a Democrat light? What does that even mean? What's the problem with the Democratic Party? The problem is it's corrupt, right? The problem is, like, oh, AOC went in there and she wants to defund the police and she can't get that through because of the corruption. So we should make our own party where we want to defund the police and then we'll be able to get that through because question mark, right? So if someone agrees with you, fuck the Democratic Party, and they're doing a third party that is pro-left wing, none of this makes any sense, but they just say it and people lap it up.
Against certain things, they were for mandates, and they were against things that were at the core of the party. And so now I'm reading in the statement that you released, and it says here that the accuser's original had not even used the word sexual harassment. What was the original complaint?
That's correct. It was the members of the board who had a political opposition to me who in fact gave it that term, sexual harassment. And later, the allegation was even escalated by her because she changed her story, as members of the committee later told me. Every time that they spoke with her, one of them said, quote, every time I speak with her, she gave a different story. Every time I speak with you, you tell me the same. Another member of the committee, a 3-person committee who was brought together to investigate, that concluded that in fact there was no merit to these allegations, found dozens of inconsistencies in her own statements. This is what happens to people who challenge the establishment, who challenge the power authority.
Okay, so, all right, different does not mean, like, contradicting details. As someone who's been through multiple traumatic events in my life, I can tell you, the way I describe those traumatic events change over time. Now, it's one thing if I say I was on the roof when this happened, and the next day I say I was actually in the basement. That is a contradicting detail. Different does not mean contradicting. That used to be, like, he's saying she told different stories each time, not contradicting stories, if they were different. Sometimes you remember things in a different way. Sometimes you explain something in a slightly different way. Sometimes you add on a couple details you forgot the first time. Were the stories contradicting each other? And also, again, this whole politically motivated. It's a political fucking party, douchebag. It's a fucking political fucking party, you stupid douchebag. Of course people are going to be political in a fucking political fucking party. Absolute snowflake baby.
And with over enough time, this is what inevitably appears to occur because the establishment, we've seen it against so many candidates, so many leaders of movements, the establishment will weaponize any kind of identity or any kind of allegations of sexual harassment against people who are trying to challenge the establishment.
Well, it is a playbook. It definitely is. There's no doubt about it. That's a playbook.
Okay, sure. Sometimes that happens. And
if you get to look, you know, if you get to the left of the Democratic Party, their playbook is you smear them. You call them alt-right. You call them a white supremacist. You call them racist. You call them a sexist. They did that, and then you accuse them of a weaponized #MeToo thing, and that's the playbook. That's how it's worked. They did it to Shea Batar, the old garbage. They did it in the New York mayor's race. He was accused of groping someone he was dating. So and then they were giggled about it. The people making the accusations giggled about it.
I love how he just goes, oh yeah, someone was accused of groping while dating, as if that's impossible. Oh, you're dating, so that means you get to just like have sex with me whenever, however, because we're dating. What if you're not in the mood right now? Now, I'm not, not everyone is horny 24/7. If you're walking down the street and your partner starts fucking like motorboating your titties or something, and there's like, people everywhere staring at you, that's fucking weird. It doesn't matter if you're dating. Like, what? What? So already, now again, yes, it is true. Sometimes people will falsely declare someone a sexual harasser with no reasoning, and that does happen. That is true. It has happened before, and it probably will happen again. That's why you investigate things. But now, again, these people are going to say you cannot sexually harass or assault someone you're dating. These are not the arbiters of what is sexual harassment. They're done. One strike, you're done. You don't know what sexual assault or harassment even is. Why would I listen to you talk about this at all?
On television. So this is not uncommon. It happened to me, right? Everybody saw it. It happened to me right out in the open. And
it happened right out in the open. What does that mean? It happened right out in the open, as opposed to not in the open? What?
So everybody called Bernie a sexist. They called Jill Stein a Russian. I mean,
who's they? I think it's kind of safe to say Jill Stein doesn't have the best intentions on a lot of things. I voted for Jill Stein, so I'm allowed to say that. But who is they here? Who is they? I'm so interested in who the fuck they is. Who the fuck is they?
Okay. Now I was going back to another point about the Democratic Party, quote unquote, light. I'm not opposed to the quote unquote Democrat Party light. And what I mean by that is I don't like the Democratic Party as it is constructed right now, a corporate centrist party. Not that it was great prior to the Bill Clinton takeover of the party, but I would say the Democratic Party in the 1970s was, I'm not going to say it was a perfect party, but it was kind of almost a labor party at that point. And one could say that the Democratic Party was almost a labor party, almost a social democratic party from the time of FDR New Deal till I guess when Michael Dukakis was defeated in 1988. The Democratic Party played a role as a social democratic party or a labor party. Not officially. It was still more right wing than the Labour Party in the UK or the Social Democrats in Sweden. But the Democratic Party sort of played the role of that because we have a two-party system that seems to not want to go away. So now when Andrea was complaining about they, referring to they, the way I look at it would be the powers that be. Corporate Democrats are they. Neocon Republicans are they. They are the problem. But let me let her continue.
Because it seems to me that they is changing every time. First, they is the liberals. Then they is the Democrats. Then they is the non-Democratic Party, but still liberals. Then they are the populists. Then they are the people that disagree with me and my political party. Who the fuck is they? Who is they in each one of these?
If you get to the left, Joe Rogan endorsed Bernie Sanders. So he's immediately a racist. He's immediately a right-winger. He's never voted for a Republican in his life. So this is the playbook, right?
He's never voted for a Republican in his life. Didn't he vote for Donald Trump? Didn't he say he voted for Donald Trump? And also, people are calling Joe Rogan a racist. because he endorsed Bernie Sanders. People are calling Joe Rogan a racist because he constantly talks about racism on his show. He just had Jordan Peterson on his show like a month ago talking about like race realism and how like, whoa, you know, like black people, man, they're like different. That's what he was talking on his show with Jordan Peterson a month ago. That's why people call him racist.
Okay, let's talk about that. Joe Rogan, I have a unique view on Joe Rogan. I used to think he was a douchebag. I think he's all right, but sometimes he sticks his foot in his mouth, just like most people do. But when they're saying that he voted for Bernie Sanders, they're basically saying he's not Rush Limbaugh, he's not Sean Hannity, he's not Mark Levin, he's not any of these fuckers you see. He's not Charlie Kirk, he's not Benjamin Shapiro. Almost said Netanyahu. He's not Ben Shapiro. He's not any of these right-wing fuckers out there. I mean, and that's basically what they're saying. Yeah, I mean, they're trying to emphasize that he's not a right-wing knuckle-dragging. Oh, there I go again. That he's not a knuckle-dragging reactionary douchebag. That's basically what they're trying to say. And yeah, I know that Joe Rogan made his Planet of the Apes comment. Not a nice thing to say. He apologized for it. The N-word, he was basically referencing a rap song. And, someone like myself, I'm anti-racist, but you'll never have to worry about me doing that, referencing with a rap song, because I don't listen to rap. But that's another story. But he did apologize for his words. And anyway, let's go on.
Now you can maybe disagree and maybe say like, oh, I don't think he's racist. He's just really stupid and he doesn't mean it or whatever. That's fine, right? But no one calls him racist because he endorsed Bernie Sanders. No one does that. 0 people have done that. I'm just saying. No one thinks Joe Rogan is a racist or a right-winger because he endorsed Bernie Sanders. People disagreed with him endorsing Bernie Sanders at the time. I thought it was a good idea, personally. But you can disagree with him for endorsing Bernie Sanders from any position, but it's not related to him then at other points in time being a racist right-wing weirdo. So again, this guy he's not telling you truth.
Right? So, and it seems like there isn't any, there's no backing up. Well, it says that the whistleblower is at the accuser's last place. What's the name of the person accusing you?
You're not allowed to say the name now, I'm not saying the name. I don't want to go into that, but yes.
Okay, so
I know what you're getting at.
The whistleblower is at the accuser's last place of employment told us that she had done the same thing at their organization that she was presently doing with us, accusing board members of sexual harassment and abuse, using it to split the board and demand professional advancement. It also turned out that she was friends and former colleagues with Shahid Buttar's accuser, who had sought to sink his congressional challenge to Nancy Pelosi, and even tried to get us to hire her accused. What? So the person who's accusing you wanted you to hire Shahid Buttar's accuser?
Correct. And you're right, she's done this at the last organization that she worked at.
So I had heard that before. That's not. Come on. Now, proof that she tried to get you to hire Shahid Buttar's accuser, because that would be crazy.
But yes, we have messages exchanges and conversations. Yes.
Okay.
I wonder if any of that's going to be made public. If you've got irrefutable evidence that this person is a plan, wouldn't you publicize it? I'm just saying, I would. If I was with 100% certainty that he was going after me was a Democrat Party plan, I would fucking publicize that shit ASAP. Right? But guess what? I'm guaranteeing you they're not doing that because they know that this person is not a Democrat Party plan, and they're not saying their name because they don't want to escalate this situation, because then it might get into legal trouble for them. Again, every single fucking time anyone criticizes Nick Brana, they're a Democrat Party plan. In fact, go to my fucking channel page. I made a video about the People's Party like yesterday, and people called me a fucking Democrat Party plan. Hold up. I'm going to show you that. Like, this is the playbook for these people. Where is this People's Party video? Here it is. Hold up. Let me show you the comments I got when this story broke. These are the comments I got. It's the same every time. It's the same bullshit every single time. So here's the comments I got on my video from yesterday. Nick Brianna is a straight-up good guy, and he has some really good people and some planted moles to create chaos and discord. I believe the commentator here is a very solid place set aside in hell. So I'm going to hell because I don't like someone on the internet. I'm going to hell? Wouldn't you want people to go to hell if they're like war criminals or murderers or rapists? Because I don't like someone online, am going to hell. Isn't that a little extreme?
It is.
Isn't that a little fucking extreme? I'm sorry. Even if everything I did was wrong, and even if I was truly super incorrect, and Nick Brana is a great guy, do I really belong in fucking hell?
No,
let's be honest. Come on, bro. But again, look at this. Like, this is 15 minutes ago. So, literally, as I'm doing this live stream, people are coming to this video and giving the talking points. They've been programmed. These are NPCs that have been programmed, folks. This is like you're playing Skyrim, and someone got shot with an arrow in through their knee or something. These people are not actual human beings. They have no thinking skills at all. They are NPCs. And he has some really good people. Many people. I have the best people, and some planted moles. What is that? Planted moles. What is that language? So again, 3 hours ago, this was this morning, and I responded before the show. Another Me Too liberal smear of someone actually challenging power. First of all, does Nick Brana actually challenge power? No, they don't. How do they challenge power? Saying, I do declare I don't like Democrats, that's challenging power? That's not challenging power. That's just saying you don't like Democrats. Oh, I'm going to start an organization, not a political party because it's not registered anywhere. I'm going to start an organization to make money, and I'm going to give $20,000 for a logo that never happened. I'm challenging the establishment. What? How is that challenging the establishment? I'm just saying, it's just the friend of Shit Bittar's accuser. These shitlib infiltrators wanted to look at this. Shitlib infiltrator wanted to turn People's Party into a liberal party. We are a populist party. That's how we defeat power. The workers against the oligarchy. Okay, so you're a People's Party, you're a populist, that's how you defeat power. Can you give me one example of that happening? So again, you can look at more of these comments, but I'm getting distracted because I'm high. But again, they get their talking points, they get their programming, they install their firmware update, and then they're deployed to go harass people incessantly with the same talking points. Now again, every time I get these, right, like, you know, I'm going to invite them on the show. I'm not convinced that these are real people. I'm going to be honest with you. I am not convinced that these are real people with real unique identities. I'm not. So every time these people comment, I invite them on the show. I invited one of these fucking freaks on the show the other day, and they were posting in the chat, they were trolling in the chat, and as soon as I started the call, they left. And they said, oh, can't do it. Right? I am convinced that these force the vote weirdos are not real people. I'm convinced. Some of them maybe are real people. It's possible. But I'm convinced most of these comments that I get are not real people, because if they were real and they act, wouldn't you want to come on my show and own the liberal smear Democrat?
Okay, a couple of little things I want to share here. Let's see. One thing. Getting back to the People's Party, it's really going to collapse. I mean, I saw the writing on the wall for the People's Party almost from the get-go. I figured they would be about a 5-year project. I mean, 5 more years, shall I say. I know this started in 2017. I figured by the year 2025, you're not going to hear any more about the People's Party. But getting back to this whole revisiting issue of forced to vote, and I think this is probably one of the reasons why there's a lot of hatred. Not a lot of hatred, but I think a lot of people are hating on Jimmy Dore with this forced to vote thing. And honestly, I have seen politicians, even the best of them, sit on their ass and do nothing to give us Medicare for all. I'm not saying that they're deliberately doing nothing. Their hands are tied. And everybody's always going back to a plan B before we can get to plan A, which is Medicare for all. And we're always on plan B, and there's never any attempt to go and be aggressive about it. Yeah, the force to vote was basically the way to go about it. I mean, you would have seen more Medicare for all marches out there. You'd have been seeing groundswell of support, and yeah, we wouldn't have gotten Medicare for all. We might have gotten a public option, and we're not even going to get that. So, I mean, you know, with due respect, Andrea, when I hear people on my side, the online left, being skeptical of forced to vote, guess what? It wasn't done. We're no closer to getting Medicare for all than we were prior to discussing forced to vote. You know, this is a shame. Let me continue.
And then so the board members and your general counsel said that you had to take action to safeguard the party before they attempted to purge the party of populist leaders. Delegates of
action to safeguard the party. Isn't that the same thing Democrats say when they criticize the squad for wanting universal health care or child tax credit? Oh, we're doing this because we got to safeguard the party. What about those in the battleground states? We can't talk about defunding the police, the party. We got to think about the party. It's about the party.
volunteers. We also knew that we couldn't let them continue to abuse volunteers, shift our message and our mission to identity politics, because that's what it seemed like to me that was happening. That certainly seemed like from the outside that in fact
identity politics. Can someone tell me what the fuck identity politics means? And what does getting vaccinated against the coronavirus have to do with identity politics? What?
I even warned you about it, right? I even warned you about that. Right? I go, hey, people aren't on board with your vision. This is not the right fit, and you should clean house. And I told you that a long time ago. Having failed to derail the party away from the populist mission that has galvanized thousands nationwide, we can expect relentless attacks on the party, and we expect those who were removed to attack on DNC aligned and billionaire-funded media outlets that have long sought to bring down the People's Party, especially since forced to vote. As long as I'm with the People's Party, you'll never submit to the threats of blackmail. So that's what it is.
I mean, this guy's got main character syndrome. They really, he actually thinks that, George Soros is spending money to punish him because he wanted to force the vote. Democrat, oligarch, billionaire funded. Because you wanted to force the vote? What?
I mean, that's what, for me, I was like, oh, I warned you this was going to happen. It's going to happen. Here it is. And I saw somebody about this on another show. It wasn't your direct accuser, but there was somebody who had been accusing me of every horrible thing under the sun. Someone I've never met, never spoke to, don't know who she is.
He also happens to be a friend of my accuser.
Oh, okay. So and I try to tell people when somebody joins a new organization like the People's Party that has no money and no power, they have no power at all, honestly, no power. Democrat actually has power, and they have a lot of money.
So that's an important point. The People's Party does have no power. Thank you. So they're challenging the establishment with no power.
I was to join an organization, and then it turned out it wasn't what I thought it was, and I didn't like it. I would leave, and I wouldn't spend another year trying to take down that organization that has no money and no power. That to me sounds like an infiltrator who's somehow getting paid somewhere to try to divide the left and try anything, any grassroots.
So Jimmy Dore literally just endorsed the Justice Democrat strategy. He just did it. He literally just endorsed the Justice Democrat strategy. He said, "Oh, I would join a party that has power and then challenge them because they have power." He just endorsed AOC. He just endorsed the Squad. But wait, no, whoops. No, it's actually what the fuck is this guy doing? This guy is Looney Tunes. I've been telling you motherfuckers that this guy's been crazy for like 2 to 3 years now. I've been telling you motherfuckers.
Well, the left, the TYT left and the Jimmy Dore left are all just alike in the sense that they're all eccentric as hell. I mean, yeah, it just how it is. The personalities on the online left is like a big soap opera at times, and everybody's a little bit, just a little off. I mean, and anyway, it's part of the levity. I mean, it's serious. Politics is serious, but that's the levity part about it.
These motherfuckers are crazy. They're crazy. The People's Party is crazy. Jimmy Dore is crazy. Jackson Hinkle is fucking crazy. All of these people are fucking Looney Tunes. They're dumb, selfish, narcissistic, loser, main character syndrome, dumbass motherfuckers.
Look what they did to force the vote. Look what they did to the Medicare for All marches, right? And it's always the same people who are sloppy on it. It's a billionaire funded, like guys like Ryan Graham from...
And the TYT crowd are bought and sold and answering to corporate donors these days. So, you know, say what you will about the Jimmy Dore and Jackson Hinkle and some of the other folks, Gray Zone and some of these other folks that some people are finding problematic. I find the corporate donorship of TYT probably the most problematic of all.
From the intercept, it takes a check from 3 different billionaires, and then mislead, forced to vote in Medicare for All and Democrat politics and all that stuff, and probably about this issue too. So that's the guy. Right. That's what you're up against. I knew it was coming. I mean, the guy that gets to Bernie, they had a senator. They didn't have a volunteer. They had a senator accused Bernie of sexism. That's how desperate the Democrat Party gets when you get to the left of them. So so anything else. So Nick, I advise you to go. This in a sense, I would try to make lemonade, and once people get to know you as a three-dimensional human being, I think that's very helpful to them. And more is going to come. The next thing they're going to do is Russian. So that's coming. You're going to be Russian.
I'm just being very honest with you. Jimmy Dore was pro-Putin, invading Ukraine. Jimmy Dore has come out in favor of Vladimir Putin. As far as I'm concerned, 100% convinced. You will never convince me otherwise. Jimmy Dore is a Russian asset. So if Nick Brana, I don't know if he's a Russian asset. I don't think he's on Putin's radar. Let's be honest, right?
Okay. The whole Russian smear again. Now I'm gonna say it like it is. There are people who are his states around the world much worse than Vladimir Putin. Much worse. The motherfucker in Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro, worse. The previous prime minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, a war criminal, killed way more people during his time as prime minister than Vladimir Putin did in the last few days or time he was the premier of Russia. Look at all the dictatorships around the world that the United States supports. Was it like 70% of the current dictatorships around the world gets backed by the U.S.? So, yeah, Vladimir Putin is a bad guy, but I would not call him the worst. Let's see. The McCarthyism, a right-wing tactic to call your political enemies Russian. That's what they did during the days of McCarthyism. You call somebody Russian. Well, the conservatives are calling, people who disagree with them on the other side, saying, "Oh, they're being bought and paid for by China." There's that too. So and then there's whether there are conspiracy theorists out there that will tell you that money interests by Jews are controlling politics here in the United States. They do it in the form of George Soros, or they'll say they lobby or they'll, what have you. Or Marjorie Taylor Greene will tell you Jewish satellites out in space are destroying California California forests, causing wildfires. So, there's a lot of smears that goes on in all kinds of directions.
Right. But I'm going to be honest. I think Jimmy Dore is very useful to Putin. So I'm just saying. I'm just throwing that out there. If you are in favor of invading Ukraine, let's be honest. There's a lot wrong with your vision.
There are Nazis in Ukraine. While I will say that Putin is not a benevolent figure, let's don't act like Ukraine. Let's don't act like Ukraine are, sugar and spice and everything nice. Remember, you have Nazis in the Ukraine. They're going around, they vandalized a gay bar in Kiev a few months ago, about a month and a half or 2 months ago. Around the world, you actually have real Nazis, not people who may have some unpleasant views, but they just go on with their lives and do not be open about their views. You got people who are open about it. If anybody's, Ukraine is actually the greater evil in that regard. I still don't believe that Russia should go into Ukraine, but I also don't believe the United States and NATO should go into Russia either. Haven't we learned our lessons?
Racist, you're going to be something.
And, I already get that.
And I'm not accusing you of being pro-war, by the way. I'm not.
Yeah, so I got that just for being associated with the party. So again, so there's lots of things that are suspect. And
two of the main, can I tell you, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Two of the main objectives that emerged of this more liberal faction inside the People's Party that had positions of power, and which my
So again, liberal faction. Why are they liberals? Has anyone asked him why they're liberals? Because they
liberal. I think the better term would be centrist, but that's just me. When I make fun of liberals not doing their job, or liberals who are afraid to take their own side of the argument, I usually call them corporate Democrats, or I'll call them centrists, because they love that term centrist. But I think centrist should be considered a dirty word.
They believe in vaccines. That's why they're liberals. You said that earlier. This motherfucker. Anyone that is pro-vaccine is a liberal. Like, they could be anti-capitalist, hardcore communist anarchist, right? Abolish borders, abolish states, abolish electoral politics, but they also believe in vaccines, so that makes them a liberal. What? Bro, you can't take this shit seriously, man. They're too dumb. This is too dumb. But I get people, and this is why I'm convinced that no one actually listens to these people and that they're all bots. Because I cannot imagine talking to someone who thinks that being in favor of vaccines makes them a liberal. Imagine just being that fucking stupid. That you think, oh, someone going to the doctor? Pfft, typical liberal. What? You took a supplement to help your fucking bone strength? You're a liberal. You washed your hands before you made her? Ha! Gotcha, liberal. Seriously, being pro-vaccine makes someone a liberal. I can't even...
used to split the board and influence in this more liberal direction, along with other contractors at the party. Two of their main objectives were, at the same time, we're currently having a national organizing committee process where the country elected delegates that come together to form the national charter of the People's Party National Committee. So we're deliberating the rules.
Okay, so they banned everyone who disagreed with them, and now they're making the charter. It's a great idea. DJ, feel free to sign me up for whatever you got going on. Also, DJ Elf, can you get Paula Jean Swearingen to unblock me on Twitter? Is that possible? Because now that she's gone from the People's Party, honestly, water under the bridge for the catch-up queen, Paula Jean. She needs to unblock me. We got to start this campaign. I want to get Paula Jean on my show.
The National Committee, there was a provision that was advocated for and made it in and was inserted into the draft of the charter that would have allowed, if it had not been changed, for Democrats, registered Democrats, to control the state committees in 40 states. Every seat in 40 states, registered Democrats, while we're facing, of course, as a new party, massive legislative culture.
Okay, and I swear to God, would these people feel the same way if registered Republicans joined their party? You're not a party yet. How can someone switch their registration to People's Party if they're not a fucking party yet? Again, it's a movement for a People's Party. They haven't actually made it official that they are a national party yet, or in most states. So, no shit, someone's going to be a So you're telling them, oh, so we're not a party yet, and we don't have any elections yet. So, but you got to unregister as a Democrat to join the party? Why?
Okay, I want to touch on that point because I agree with Andrea right there on this point. And I agree with her because to register with the People's Party, that you have to give up your previous affiliation of whatever party you were a member of. And the problem I have is that I experienced this before when I was in the Socialist Party USA, because when you're a political party and trying to get on the ballot, sometimes it's difficult. So some Socialist Party affiliates, when I'm using the Socialist Party USA as an example, some of us used to have to work with the Green Party to run our candidates. We wanted to run for office. We kind of link up with the Green Party. Like in New York State, the Socialist Party USA and the Green Party were very chummy, got along. Places like New Jersey, the Green Party and the Socialist Party USA were at each other's throats. Some places, like down here in North Carolina, neither the Green Party nor the Socialist Party were on the ballot or anything anywhere as close when I was back in the early 2020, some years ago. But the problem was that we were so there was no chance we could get on the ballot. We kind of looked at each other as friendly competition. And we were trying to steal each other's members and all of that. I remember that was going on. That was hilarious. But you have some people in the leadership that will go and make a lot of trouble for people if they, you're working with the Green Party. That's not allowed. Or, you're working with the Democrats. That's not allowed. And under the Constitution of the Socialist Party USA, we were allowed to do these things. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But except that I understand where she's coming from in that regard, and she's got a point.
Hi. Now, if I'm going to join another party, I'm going to switch my registration. Why would I unregister or change it to affiliated or unaffiliated and then do it again? What?
There's a history of infiltration of two parties. Mayor talks about it, and it would have allowed Democrats to hold a supermajority on our national committee, and that was outrageous to the majority of the populace delegates who voted it down.
Who cares? It's not a party yet. What does that mean? Oh, they're Democrats. They're infiltrate Democrats. Go liberals.
Resoundingly.
So you know what? I just remembered they even did this to Jen Uger. So when Jen Uger ran for Congress, they were smearing him left and right as a sexist. Do you remember that in the LA Times headline? And Bernie Sanders had to withdraw his endorsement of Jen Uger. You remember this? This happened to Jen.
I do remember that personally. I think Bernie unendorsing Cenk was a bad deal. I think that was kind of shitty. I'm just going to say. Just throwing that out there.
Uger, and then Jen Uger turned around and did it to Dore charity. Accused him of rape, or not, he didn't do it, but he wasn't. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that when Cenk Uygur was running for that district. I forgot, was it District 25? I don't know what number of district it was in California. Anyway, when he was running, and Bernie Sanders endorsed Cenk Uygur and then rescinded the endorsement, and I was kind of mad about that at the time, and I really was mad about that. That was just so wrong. Because why? Because Cenk Uygur basically made some sexist comments when he was in college back in the 1990s. He was even a Republican back then. It was a time he was kind of on a libertarian-leaning Republican, perhaps, a former Muslim turned atheist Republican, because he was kind of libertarian leaning, and then he became, center left. And ironically, the strong shift to the left that Cenk would take would be because of Jimmy Dore. Yet everybody calls Jimmy Dore the right winger, and he actually pulled Cenk Uygur to the left. But that's beside the point there. Let me continue.
Falsely accused of rape, and he got fired. He lost his job over it. Remember that? Remember that happened? Or maybe it happened the other way. It happened to Jordan first, and then it happened to Jen. I can't remember which way. Because I remember saying to that, if you let this garbage happen to Jordan, it can happen to anybody here.
He's talking about Jordan Sheridan from Status Quo. Great program if you ever get a chance to watch it. I know that Jordan Sheridan, in his own way, has an axe to grind with the Young Turks. I know that has something to do with sexual harassment. I'm not sure if it happened or not. Again, all that's hearsay. It may have happened, may not. I don't know, but I do know that whenever the Young Turks got up and Jordan Sheridan talks about it, it seems like a very sore subject to him.
Really, anybody here, and they knew it. But apparently, Jack had a special voter for.
I'm just very curious, like what it means, right? Like, what is it happening here? People fuck up. They do bad things. It happens. Now, I don't know the details with fucking Jordan's bullshit. I've been sent some materials. But I'm not all the way read up on that. But if he did something bad, then he did something bad. It happens. Just because you can find a bad example of something like someone getting falsely accused every once in a while, doesn't mean that all of a sudden actual accusations stop happening. So I'm just saying, and what is it? What is it? I don't know what it is. And last time I checked, and again, I could be wrong, but last time I checked, Cenk Uygur got canceled, quote unquote, like it in this instance when it comes to Cenk, was like his stupid ass fucking Republican blog posts from like the late 90s and early 2000s.
Yep.
I did not hear that Cenk Uygur actually assaulted someone or harassed someone in a sexual fashion. He made a stupid blog post when he was a dipshit Republican. It happens. That is not the same thing as sexual assault. That is not the same thing as sexual harassment. So what is it? Why is it? The word it is constantly changing. It all of a sudden means that, then it means this, and it's just, what the hell?
For Jordan, and but Jordan was out of a job. That was that. He had sex with a woman, and the woman accused him of rape, and that she was employed by him, right? And so I mean, so this happens, goes around. I mean, this is not a new. This is and you would think that would have made Jordan more objective or more critical when he hears such a story. Jordan has been the primary one attacking.
Yes, Nick Brana, the chair of MVP, was under investigation. I had that confirmed yesterday. I didn't have it of MP Pressman. I don't know. Actually, he's brought on a couple people who have really only tangential knowledge of any of this. I'm sure he'll be happy to bring someone on who actually has direct knowledge of it.
All right, well, I look forward to that. I'm sure I hope that happens. I hope you have a nice interview over there. So let me ask you this question. Yeah. So how many members are on the board, and how many members were removed?
Currently, there are 5, and 5 were removed.
So there were 10, and so it's not like, so there were 11. So you got rid of a little less than half the board, right? So how does that happen? Who has the power to do that?
Well, what happened is actually referred to. What we have is that we have 11 out of
so 6 out of 11.
Exactly.
Okay.
And what happened is that we discovered, or certain members of the board faced me with serious alarm and to our general counsel when they discovered that there was a plan to in fact remove me and remove other members of the board and remove delegates. The delegates who had specifically opposed to them in the provision that I described earlier that would allow Democrats to overrun and control our state and national committees. Wanted to remove them, remove me, remove populist leaders from states across the country in the National Organizing Committee. And the other thing that had really set them off and really upset them and really set their sights on removing me and these other populist leaders across the party and delegates to the National Organizing Committee was our support.
Notice the binary he's creating: the populists and the Democrats. And what what divides them? People's Party registration. Again, the People's Party isn't a party yet, so. And whether or not they're in favor of vaccination. Look, this is not like, we're not talking about like, oh, we like a for-profit healthcare system, or like, oh yeah, Raytheon, a pretty good company, or oh yeah, Joe Biden's doing a great job, and I love Nancy Pelosi actually. No. It's not like these are like corporate Democrat neoliberals or whatever. It's they are in favor of vaccines, and they might have not changed their party registration yet, because the People's Party isn't a party yet.
Against a membership vote on whether the party should come out against COVID vaccine mandates. So they were very opposed to that. I proposed bringing it to the membership saying this is the People's Party. It is outrageous the idea that we wouldn't allow our members to decide. It is number one, the issue that is essentially the number one populist issue in the world right now. This is the largest populist movement in the world right now is on this issue right now. There's essentially a revolution happening in Canada around this issue, and many other countries are rolling around it. You talked earlier, Max Blumenthal, about what it's being used to usher in social credit system. So we wanted to put that to the membership, and they were highly opposed to that. It was another reason that they tried to remove
There's a revolution in Canada going on right now, folks. These people live in a fantasy world. These people live in a fucking fantasy. There's a revolution in Canada because American billionaires gave a lot of money to neo-Nazi organizers to like pretend to be truckers for a couple weeks. That means
Okay. Getting back to this, the truckers. A few toxic right-wing truckers does not make the majority of the truckers, even if they're center-right leaning. I mean, what these truckers, probably most of these truckers are probably the Canadian version of some overzealous red hat wearing MAGA who wants to go make America great again, but they're not particularly bigoted or if they are, they keep it quiet or what have you. These truckers are under duress, and and again, those who are Nazis supporting the Confederate flag and all that, fuck them. They can drop dead. For all I care. Racist pieces of shit. The hell with them. But we're talking about the average trucker out there. It's kind of insulting. This is what pushes the country further. Well, in the United States, this kind of shit is what pushed people further right. And doing this in Canada is going to cause an effect and cause Canada possibly to go shift further right too. I don't want to see Canada go through another era of Stephen Harper again. But if this keeps up, by calling regular Joes who belong to probably a labor union, most of them belong to a labor union. And again, whether they're white and conservative Tory leaning, or whether they're indigenous, or whether they're Sikhs, regardless of how even they would vote individually, to sit there and call truckers Nazis. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that shifts the country further right, society further right, because people don't want people. The left seems to champion battles that they know they can't win, instead of appealing to the pocketbook, appealing to people's wallet, appealing to economic quality of life. And no, I'm not being class reductionist saying this, but if you wage class struggle, you will see a hell of a lot less racism around, because what breeds racism and breeds bigotry are people who do not feel successful and they go and want to blame another person. If you do well and you do well and I do well and everybody else is doing well, you're going to have a lot less resentful people around. Just food for thought.
That means there's a revolution in Canada.
So that's why I'm happy to share and announce tonight that the People's Party will be going ahead with that membership vote, and members will be heard and they will have a chance to express themselves. And this party is going to be doing the membership side in terms of taking the position against, before, or staying out of it for COVID vaccine mandates. And as a strong position, there are members who are going to meet against these mandates and everything rushing in.
Okay. So again, I say this: your party's in its infancy. The deck is stacked way against you doing anything done.
Party is in its infancy. It's 6 fucking years old. Little baby. Oh, how old are they? 6.
Any successes against all these odds? What can you name any?
Yeah, last year we got them down in Florida. This year we got them down in Virginia. We also are going to be registered as a People's Party member in many different states in California. And we registered as a People's Party.
You can be registered as a People's Party in California.
Right.
So now people know how hard it is to get on the ballot. I mean, that's the big part. That's what the two-party system does. They block you from being on the ballot, and then if you actually do manage to get on the ballot, they'll get paid for it. And then they want to keep you back on the court. So Ralph ran. He was spending all his money as a campaign. He was spending on lawyers fighting for ballot access. So that's how they get you. And so people think, is your father the treasurer of the People's Party?
He is.
Yeah. And people say that's a problem. What do you say that?
I say, haven't we had enough problems with infiltration and disruption that we want somebody who we can trust in that position? And also, when we have a problem with that, we are legally required to report all donations and expenditures for $200 to the IRS. And so feel free to look it up. We even put it on our website. You can find it anywhere. So anyone who has a problem with that, go dig through the financial records yourself.
And those are available, right? Where can people find those financial records?
Available. They can go to the IRS, or they can go to our transparency page.
We're going to go to the fucking IRS, folks. We're going to investigate the goddamn People's Party.
Go to people'sparty.org, under the about to find transparency, and there you'll find a link to the IRS. So, have that.
Okay. All right, Nick. Well, good luck with this unbelievably big task you've put on your shoulders of trying to build a third party in a country that most of the people, first of all, half the people want a third party that's not viable. But for some reason, the other half of the people who vote all the time, they can't be possible. They go, well, I can't vote for a third party. There's a lot of people who are going for a third party. Well, yeah, start somewhere.
Okay, I want to finish that video and go with my final words. And this is one of the longer videos I've done this morning, this streaming here. And the thing about it is that that the People's Party, I don't dislike the People's Party. I've always wished that they would have done well. I'm glad when any third parties come around trying to make a go at it, and that includes the People's Party. But I just don't see them really going anywhere. So I'm a bit skeptical right now. But right now, I'm sticking with the Green Party. I know they're not necessarily going to be the panacea either, but I can't be with the Democrats, and I feel like I need to belong to an electoral force. And ideally, if I had it my way, we would have a Social Democratic Party of America on the ballot in all 50 states, or the Labor Party of America on the ballot in all 50 states. I don't care what name you use. So those are my 2 favorite names for political parties: Labor or Social Democratic, and having a nice big fat red rose as the symbol. That's just how I am politically. So anyway, chat line here. Dirtbag Leftist, good morning. Are you against all the other mandates that are you against all the other vaccines that are mandated, or is it just this one? All the other vaccines that are mandated right now, I favor keeping it as it is, because this vaccine is still new enough. I think that the easiest way to get more people vaccinated is to let it be your individual choice. That's the best way I can answer it. And I want to do it in a way that, as a civil libertarian, that people's rights will not be interfered with, or that's where I stand on that. Are you against any mandate for any vaccine, or just this one? Again, as I said, this vaccine has to be the exception for the time being. Let's see. Is the People's Party going to even have one candidate on the ballot anywhere in the midterms? That's a very good question. That is a very good question. I don't really see anything myself, but that's just my take. Didn't FDR leave out blacks from the New Deal? That's actually a very, very good question, too. Social Security was race neutral. And there was some other provisions in the New Deal where it was universal, but like the Civil Conservation Corps and things like that, they unfortunately kept segregation going, and it was a product of the time. So, but still, the middle class started to increase for the African Americans because unions started to get stronger, and unions did provide a lot of opportunity in the private sector. I would say that blacks didn't benefit as much from the New Deal as their white counterparts, but they started getting a hand up in society through the New Deal in ways that helped other folks too. Let's see. Franco gets treated like trash for exposing Nick Brana. That's Propaganda Live. How are you today? Yeah, I listen to his program occasionally, probably not as much as I used to, because just so many programs I listen to on the online left. Good morning, Radical Leftist Agenda. I'm anti-vax mandate when you can still spread the virus after getting it. Yeah, as I said, I think it needs to be an individual choice. Let's see. This girl is annoying as fuck. Who is annoying as fuck? I don't know who's annoying. Let's see. Let's see here. She is extreme too. Who's extreme? I don't know. I don't get it. Let's see. Didn't FDR exclude black people from the New Deal? I answer that. Her show sucks though. I don't know who she is. Let's see. Laughing out loud. If all that shit was true or not, Brana needs to step down. Yeah, I would agree about Nick Brana. If it is true, Nick Brana would need to step down. So I always believe in evidence. She calls other people crazy. Let's see. Motherfucker in the house. I guess that's what MF stands for. Let's see. Dirtbag left says radical leftist agenda. It would be against the mandate if a vaccine was 99% effective at stopping the spread, or will you need to be 100%? I can understand the thing when it's that sped up. Yeah, I'm sorry about the speed. Yeah, I'm just this video will be a hell of a lot longer otherwise. Dirtbag leftist. Hold on a second. Dirtbag leftist, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the video from Andrea as a link so you can kind of watch it all the way through if you like. So that's what I'll do. At Dirtbag leftist, I still think it should be a choice, to be honest. That shit is going into your body, but maybe if they work in a place like a hospital, but I still think reasonable accommodations per situation. So yeah, as I said, this is a unique situation with regard to the vaccine that I have to favor it being voluntary. Let's see. Situation. Andrea. I'm sorry. You're referring to Andrea. The person I was talking about. I for some reason I was thinking I had another person in my mind at the moment. I apologize. Yes, I understand. Andrea's okay. Again, I don't agree with her on every single issue. And I wouldn't expect her to agree with me on every single issue either. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm going to go to sleep very soon. I decided I watched this video and it was very interesting last night, and I wanted to go and do commentary on it and share my take on with regard to the with regard to what was being discussed, because this whole thing with the People's Party and Nick Brana and all of that, it looks like the People's Party would be dying soon, sooner than I thought. So anyway, if y'all like what you heard, press like and comment. Feel free to comment anyway if you just like what I have to say, and we'll have a conversation. Share the content on this channel. Let's see. Hit that notification bell. Subscribe. Create your own platform. I say this as a First Amendment absolutist. And until next time, keep the class struggle going. And remember, we're all Julian Assange. Music.